everybody, I'm your World War I roving reporter, Jewel Arden, again with a special report on the use of dogs. Yay! We're talking about my favorite people? Well, you know what I mean. But my favorite dog themes during the Great War. Today, we are in a special location with my favorite doctor, Dr. Franklin Ennis, as we explore this topic.
That's right, Jewel Arden. Today we're at the Nebraska Guard Museum in Seward, Nebraska to take a look at some of their World War I artifacts. Come on, let's go inside.
Topic in the use of dogs as national symbols in propaganda. Early in the war, the British adapted an English bulldog as a symbol for their country. You can see the use of the British bulldog in several recruiting posters of the time. To mock the German army, the British often depicted the German military as a dash hound. Sometimes they like to be called a wiener dog. Early in the war, the Americans were represented by the American Bull Terrier and eventually were represented as American Bulldogs. The image of a bulldog will come up a lot in this video. But how can we be surprised when even the most decorated American working dog of the war was Sergeant Stubby, a Bull Terrier mix?
I often wonder if the shape and appearance of World War I era gas masks gave rise to this concept of devil dogs or hellhounds. If you could imagine a soldier wearing these gas masks, you would remove a lot of the human features of a face. It would give them the appearance of having a very long snout, kind of like a hound or a dog.
Do I look like a book on a bookshelf? It's getting really hot in here.
Now imagine trying to communicate in one of these masks, where it would muffle your speech. Soldiers would have to be very loud or yell within the side of their mask that may give them the impression of barking orders. This might actually increase if you didn't understand the languages the soldiers were speaking. They would just be kind of barking towards each other.
How in the world did people breathe inside this thing? I'm getting claustrophobic.
Now even modern soldiers understand that this equipment gets very hot. Now imagine the exertion of hand-to-hand combat on top of just the experience and heat of wearing these masks. Imagine soldiers profusely sweating, saliva dripping. It may even cause sweat and saliva to pool inside the gas mask, drip through the canister and drip down from the front of the canister. In that way, it may give the appearance of a rabid dog as they snarled and gasped for air and barked orders in a foreign language towards each other.
Get this thing off of me now!
That's right, Jewel Arden.
No, doctor, get it off of me! No!
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know whose idea it was to put me in a gas mask, but I am going to talk to my agent. Oh, excuse me, everybody. This brings us to the myth of how the United States Marine Corps got its nickname of devil dogs. Well, the legend goes that German soldiers that were captured in the Battle of Bellewood reported the Marines fought like Teufelshunden, or dogs from hell. The Marines, as a result, quickly adopted the nickname devil dogs from this encounter. Unfortunately, this story may be more myth than fact, as the mention of Teufelshunden first appeared in the La Crosse Tribune in April of 1918. This would be a month before the Battle of Bellewood. Oops. Additionally, there is a grammar error, as a native German speaker would have made this term a single word. Teufelshunden. Well, anyway, they added an S and made it one big word. No one has been able to produce German documentation of this term being used. But maybe one of you out there in the audience might find it one day in an archive or in an old journal if we keep looking.
The next topic I wanted to cover is the use of dog tags. While I have to admit, the term dog tags doesn't first appear until roughly World War II, this is a dog-themed video, so we might as well throw in the topic. And personal identification tags were used in World War I. The use of dog tags in the U.S. military goes back to the American Civil War. Roughly 58% of those who died in the Civil War, their bodies were never appropriately identified. This caused local merchants to start selling medallions that could have a soldier's name engraved on it in hopes that if that soldier dies, that their body would be appropriately identified and their next of kin be notified of their fate. Other soldiers would take coins, rub the face of the coin off, and engrave their name and wear it as a medallion to serve the same purpose. During the Great War, we see the arrival of what we could consider as the start of the modern dog tag. Essentially, it was a standardized piece of metal that was either stamped or engraved with the soldier's information, in hopes that it would help identify the body if they were to die. In the British and in the American forces, you see the use of 2 identification tags. The thought process here is if a soldier dies, one of the tags would be carried back to command so the command could account for the actual deaths on the battlefield, while the other tag remained with the body and was used for mortuary affairs purposes. Modern dog tags are made out of stamped stainless steel that have a high degree of resistance to corrosion. It's rather unfortunate that even now, as more and more graves of World War I veterans are discovered, that a lot of the original dog tags that were made out of other metals such as aluminum have corroded to the point where we can no longer gain the information that was once engraved or stamped on these materials. Many of the World War I remains being discovered today cannot be identified to the personal level because of this degree of identification tags. This leaves archaeologists to use things such as equipment and even buttons in hopes to at least identify the nationality of the soldiers' remains that are being discovered today.
Ever wonder why the Mack Truck Company has a little bulldog on their hood? Well, this is because 6,000 Mack trucks were used by the British and American militaries during World War I. Since the radiator was not placed at the nose of the truck to protect it from rocks, it gave the truck a short-nosed appearance, much like a bulldog. Now, wait a minute. A bulldog? What about a pug? Pugs get a little short nose. Anyway, these rugged and reliable trucks were said to have the tenacity of a bulldog. Have you ever met a pug? We got tenacity. As a result of this nickname, the company eventually adapted the bulldog into their company logo, and you can find that little bulldog nose art of their trucks to this very day.
Thank you for watching this video. I encourage you to support your local military history museums. Museums like this one will be critically important for the development of generations of leaders to come. If you're ever near Seward, Nebraska, I invite you to visit the Nebraska Guard Museum and see all the collection it has stemming from the long history of the Nebraska National Guard.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Roving Reporter Jewel Arden, for more videos on World War I. And I also invite you to subscribe to the Evolving Warfighter channel that Dr. Annis does for videos on the topics of military self-development and military history.
Well, come on, Jewel Arden. The museum's about to close.
Doctor, I can't get down. Don't leave me here. Were you just walking off? What if I hit something that makes his gun go off? Come back here and help me get down. I want my agent. I'm going. Let's have it. Bye.